Hello and welcome to a Smurd P video, and today we're looking at Something is Killing the Children. A monster walks into a bar. Now, for those who don't know, that this was originally presented in Hello Darkness when it was first sort of launching. I think it was to draw people from this world to go read that world and then be perhaps hooked by that world. I don't know. That was the reason why I originally picked up Hello Darkness anyway. And it was sort of spread over like 6 or 7 issues in little sort of segments. But I'm really glad that they've released it like this, because those who've been collecting Something is Killing the Children, collecting individual issues and building their collections, because that's what they do. They collect these and they have great big collections off this run of what, almost 50 odd issues they must have about now, including annuals and extras and whatever. I'm glad that this has been released, because I'm not saying that nobody does know, because they perhaps do know. They may have missed out on this in their collection. So I'm glad that it's got its own individual release as well. So Erica arrives, at a bar, and she's sort of stranded. There's no buses out, because that was the intent. There's a bit of sort of banter with this lovely chap behind the bar. And now that I've read it as a whole, I've sort of adapted how I think I originally thought of some of these characters. So it's a good thing that Erica's arrived now, because a few days ago there would have been pictures and torches with somebody new in town, because there have been murders. And she sort of says, well, tell me about it. You know, I have heard something. Tell me about it. So he tells the story about Barry, gentleman across the bar, and Barry lives out in the mountains, like most of them do, because they've all got their little condos, whatever you call them, condos. And he was happy to see some of the children out playing, because a lot of them play with video games, which happens now compared to when I was a kid. You know, sometimes it's hard to get your kids to go out and play. Mine's I'm actually quite lucky. My older two are older, they're adults now, but my youngest, she actually really enjoys playing out with her friends, so quite lucky. She also still likes that as well. So this kid she's observing, Becca, across the street, perhaps a bit weird. She created all these little snowmen, perhaps as friends, or perhaps to scare the bejeebus out of him, when suddenly out of nowhere she is dragged away by nothing. He cannot see anything dragging her away, so he goes running across and finds her all ripped up in pieces. And as you can imagine, is #1 suspect and in jail. And he only got out because there were other killings afterwards, which is absolutely horrible. Now, according to our friend the bartender, everybody has their own story. So first it is a pack of wolves, albinos, is that how you pronounce it? Not entirely sure. And they said that what's happening is the 5G is out there, and it's flooding into their brain. The whole world's being flooded into their brain, which is bonkers. So they're seeing all this stuff, Power Rangers and whatever, you know, some probably other Boom Studios, other things, and they go attacking. And because they're white, they're sort of not seen, because Barry would have seen a wolf, a grey wolf, right, or a brown wolf, but because they're white, they're blending in. So yeah, so perhaps a bit far-fetched compared to, but then Barry's is considered far-fetched. Now the other story is, well, they've got that kind of technology, haven't they? Well, guess what? Aliens, right? Aliens suck them in and take them off. And well, she didn't really like that story, so it ends quite abruptly. But he thought it was his favorite, but considering that 6 kids are dead, it's probably not really something to be quite fond of. So anyway, our new friend Vera, who likes gin and tonic, probably didn't used to like a gin and tonic. She works at the school, and she knew these kids, and she likes going for walks. I'm not sure whether she was an alcoholic before or afterwards, but she found some of the bodies and felt like the murderer was still there, and what's happened is haunting her, and she's either was an alcoholic before and she was drinking and that's why she went walking, or she's an alcoholic now because of the fact she's seen that. So our bartender is not a therapist, but because he is a bartender and a businessman, he gets it all sort of stories fed to them about everything. And it's they're all trying to deal with it, including himself. They're trying to deal with this horrific thing that's happening in their town because they're not used to it. They're not ready for it. And the only way that they seem to be able to cope with it is by telling these stories. Some of them are tall tales. Some of them sound bonkers. But the one that doesn't sound bonkers is perhaps Barry, because Barry wasn't known for telling stories like that. He was quite straight up and probably an honest guy who told stories about real stuff, or perhaps wasn't much of a talker either. So the bartender's quite good, and he tells some other theories. One about kids running off to Hollyoaks to Hollywood. Clearly got Hollyoaks on the brain. Cannibal in the Woods, and the government did it. And yeah, so it is what it is. So there are ghosts. And then he wants her to tell a story. He wants her to tell an honest story, because he's seen her go in and out of the woods. She's like, well, if you have a problem with me, you know, the police over there. He's like, no, not that. I just want you to tell me a story. And this is probably what makes Something Is Killing the Children a very, very good read. Is even though you could just read these things, and there is points in real depth to these stories that are sort of hidden within it. So she talks about children and how they can see things on a deeper level, a different level than an adult can. And they sometimes fear it, and that fear grows stronger and hungers, and then they become afraid, and then that's when it's too late. And she doesn't say that a monster comes out. So he sort of understands. So they can see something that the adults can't. And sometimes some people can see it as well, and they can help. And she says sometimes they can help. And sometimes they help a little bit too late. And that's when he realizes he's not going to get anything more for her. So he shares some of his actual homemade food, so she doesn't have to eat one of the 100-year-old hot dogs. And then this is probably the bit that doesn't happen to Erica very often. He says, thank you. And she's like, you don't know what you thank me for. And he says, I think I do. And I think not many people understand, and not many people sort of thank you. So it's quite a nice, refreshing moment, I think, for Erica to have somebody that sort of understands that something weird's going on here, something that's out of control, and she helped. He didn't know how she helped or what she did, but that's going to prevent more children from dying in town, and that is what he's truly thankful. But she needs another drink to wash it down, so he's that's coming right up apparently. So yeah, so James Tynion the Fourth, Werther, Dell'Edera, Miguel Murto, and Well Design, all delivering a fantastic one-off story, which I thought was fantastic and thoroughly enjoyable. Like I said, more enjoyable than when I read it over a period of time. I really probably got more into this as a single one-off than I was during that period of time, because you were getting little snippets of it. But in this, it all comes together and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful story. And you can read this and just go away and be very, very satisfied. You've read something really, really nice, and you've seen some beautiful artwork. And there was some real decent moments in it. So anyway, hope you like my video. If you do, please do support my channel by subscribing. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Really do appreciate it. Make sure you look after yourself, very important. Thank you to everybody that's subscribed already. And as always, embrace geekiness. Take care. Goodbye.